Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about conjunctions, formal writing, and some formal writing transition vocabulary. And I will put my Facebook name in the chat box for anybody who wants to message me there. You can get updates about my classes or just say hi. Alejandro, welcome to class.
Hi.
How are you today?
Very hot,
Hot?
sweaty. Yeah, it's very, 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 very hot in Spain. 38 degrees.
Ooh, that is hot.
So, yeah, very much.
Trying to stay indoors.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
So actually, I'm avoiding the heat right now because in Brazil it is colder. Not cold, but colder than most of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm sure by the time December comes, I'll be really jealous of your weather. It'll be hot here and cold there.
Yeah, I think so.
Laszlo, welcome to class.
Hi, teacher.
How are you, Laszlo?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing really well. I've had several successful classes, and I am looking forward to 2 more today, this one included. What have you been doing today, Laszlo?
I'm working all day. I was working all day. I was at home now and enjoy the class.
Excellent. All right, and Jose, welcome to class. Jose, are you there? All right, Jose, if you're still out there watching, you can unmute yourself here and mess with your audio here. So if you need to change the microphone you're using, try changing your settings. Did you hear that, Jose? If you're having some mic trouble, try your settings. And if you still can't figure out the problem, go in the chat box. Jose? Nothing? All right, well, I hope he gets his problem figured out. In the meantime, we're going to start talking a little bit about our subject today. We're going to be discussing conjunctions and some formal writing phrases. So what is a conjunction? Can we define a conjunction? How about Laszlo? Can you help us define a conjunction? What is a conjunction?
Yeah, conjunction is in front of a word. The conjunction is in front of a word.
In front of a word?
Igen, some word. This has a special meaning. The conjunction changed the word's meaning of word.
Can you give me an example of a conjunction?
For example, the plane will take off. Off is conjunction.
Not exactly. Off is actually a preposition.
Preposition,
Yeah.
Akkor I don't know what is conjunction.
Yeah, it's tough to keep all of these categories straight. We have lots. In addition to verbs and nouns, there's prepositions and conjunctions and adjectives, adverbs, subjects, objects, direct objects, indirect objects. There's a lot to keep track of. So, Alejandra, can you help us out What is a conjunction?
I don't know how to explain in English,
Do
but
you have any
it's
examples?
a word that connects, for example, instead of is maybe a second conjunction.
You're close. I think you described it right. I don't think instead of is exactly a conjunction, but you're definitely on the right track. Let's see. Herbert.
Conjunction is.
Did you
For
figure it out,
example,
Laszlo? Laszlo, did you figure it out?
Conjunction is, for example, is that word.
The word get?
That.
Get is a verb. So not quite either. Let's see if Herbert can help us. Herbert, welcome to class. Are you there, Herbert? There we
Hi,
go.
teacher.
Hey, how are you? How are you, Herbert?
I'm fine, teacher. What about you?
Good. Is there a delay in our
I think I
connection?
have problems with the connection. I'm going to refresh the connection.
Okay. Good luck. And Jose, are you having any more luck right now? You're muted, so I can't hear you because of the mute. Possibly other problems. Okay. Jose, I encourage you to put something in the chat box if you need help. Otherwise, you're welcome to participate in the chat box. So if you want to respond to any of these questions, write your answer in the chat box and I will read it for you. Oh. Hey, you unmuted yourself. Jose, I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right. So, a conjunction is, like Alejandra explained, it's a word that connects other words. A very simple example is the word and. So you can connect phrases or sentences using the word and. But there's a lot of conjunctions, and some are simple, some are more complex, some are more formal. We're going to talk today starting with the simplest part and how they're used. And then we're going to get more complex until the end of class. We're going to talk about some formal writing expressions and ways to use conjunctions as well as other words. Do you guys have any questions before we start?
No, I see.
Okay. Then I will put the notes in the chat box. And we will get started. I'll also screen share for anybody who needs it. All right. So we're going to start looking at this document that's got a lot of green in it. All the way at the top, where it says, what is a conjunction? And underneath, Alejandra, will you read the definition for a conjunction and the two examples there?
Okay. You can use a conjunction to link words, phrases, and clauses, as in the following example. I ate the pizza and the pasta. Call the movers when you are ready. Coordinating. No, it's another. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So here we have conjunctions. They're called coordinating conjunctions, these specific ones. And there's a list of them below. The most common ones are, the most common coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or, yet, so, nor, for. And if you put them in order, you can remember them using fanboys. So fanboys, this word at the top, is a good way to remember those if you need. And Laszlo, will you read this section here that talks a little bit more about coordinating conjunctions? I'll highlight it for you.
Coordinating conjunctions. An easy way to remember these 6 conjunctions is to think of the word fanboys. You use the coordinating conjunction and, but, or, nor, for, so, or, yet to join individual words, phrases, and independent clauses. Note that you can also use the conjunction for as a preposition. In the following sentences, each of the highlighted words is a coordinating conjunction. Lilas and violets are usually purple. In this example, the coordinating conjunction and link to nouns.
Thank you very much. So here we're linking lilacs, violets. Those are 2 nouns. And Alejandra, can you read the next 2 examples and their explanations? Alejandra, are you there? You're muted, Alejandra. Aye. Rough day. Okay. Then I will read one set and we'll see if she comes back. So this movie is particularly interesting to feminists, for the screenplay was written by Mae West. In this example, the coordinating conjunction for is used to link 2 independent clauses. And Laszlo, will you read the last example and the explanation?
Yes. Daniel's uncle claimed that he spent most of his youth dancing on rooftops and swallowing goldfish. Here the coordinating conjunction and links to participle phrases. Dancing on rooftops and swallowing goldfish, which act as adverbs describing the verb spends.
Thank you very much. So these are pretty simple. They're very common. These are some of the most common conjunctions we see. Do you have any questions on these before we go on to a little bit of practice? Okay, so there are more examples there, but I think we all get the point, so you can read those on your own. Let's make some sentences. In the next page, we have numbers, and you get the first half of the sentence plus a conjunction, and you have to finish the sentence. So, Laszlo, I'll have you do number 1 for us.
Number 1. I left early for going to work on time.
Okay, close. This one is actually a really tricky one because for is used as a preposition like we talked about before and a conjunction. The way you just used for is more like a preposition than a conjunction. Alejandra, Can you give this one a try using for as
Mhm.
a conjunction?
I left early for uh, for be be in time at work. It's the same.
Kind of the same as the last one we saw.
Yeah.
So if you look, we have an example. We read an example using this up top. And the example we read was, this movie is particularly interesting to feminists, for the screenplay was written by Mae West. So this one answers the question, why? So if you look at that sentence, it says, this movie was particularly interesting to feminists. That's a whole sentence. We could put a period there. So we could say, this movie is particularly interesting to feminists, period, and then make another sentence, the screenplay was written by Mae West. But we're showing a relationship by using for. It's a causation relationship. So we're connecting two whole entire sentences using the word for, showing that one causes the other. So why are the feminists interested? Because it was written by Mae West. So if we go back down to the practice, we have the sentence, I left early. Now we need to follow up with an entire sentence or something that could be an entire sentence. So why did you leave early?
Maybe I left early for I want to do exercise.
Wonderful. Yes, that's perfect. So I left early for I wanted to do exercise. That's a great sentence. Alejandra, can you try one of number 1 as well?
But this sounds weird.
It's weird sounding because if you're really used to using for as a preposition, it's a little funny. All of a sudden it's used in a completely different way. But it's totally correct. It's actually pretty formal. It's more formal than some of the other ones. So because is very common, and
Yeah.
for is a synonym to because, but it's usually used in more formal, maybe academic type of writing.
Okay.
So can you create an example using number 1 for us?
Well, I left early for I have to get breakfast first.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I left early for
It sounds
I
very weird.
had to eat breakfast. It will sound a little funny at first. Okay. Let's try number 2. It was very expensive, but this one should be a little easier because it's a more common conjunction. Would you like to try this one first, Laszlo?
It was very expensive, but it wasn't beautiful.
All right. Awesome. And Alejandra, go for it.
It was very expensive, but I bought those shoes because they were very pretty.
Great. That works. All right. And let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat box, making sure I'm not leaving anyone behind. Jose, are you still having trouble with your mic? All right. And there's the link. All right. So we'll do a couple more with these for a little bit of practice, and then we'll move on to the next kind of conjunction. So Alejandra, can you do number 3 for us?
They never come on time, so I'm not gonna wait for them.
Great. Yeah, I think you guys got the idea now.
Yeah.
And Laszlo, will you do number 5?
Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to help, and 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 I love to go cinema after that.
All right. I'd love to help, and I'd love to go to the cinema after that. Good sentence. There's only one more that we haven't done yet, one more conjunction that we could try right now, and that would be number 9. The phone rang while.
Mm.
How can we finish that one up? Can you guys think?
Well, I was cooking.
Sure, the phone rang while I was cooking. So all of these are used to connect equal ideas. So if you have a sentence on one side, you need a sentence on the other side. Or sometimes we use them just to combine noun phrases or particle phrases. But for now, let's go on to subordinating conjunctions, which are a little bit different. Alejandra, can you read these first 2 paragraphs here underneath subordinating conjunctions?
A subordinating conjunction shows a relationship between phrases. Note, one of the phrases is more important than the other. For example, I hate tomatoes, even though I like ketchup. The most common subordinating conjunctions are after, although, as, because, before, how, if, once, since, then, that, though, till, until, when, where, whether, and while.
Thank you very much. So while can be used as a subordinating conjunction or a coordinating conjunction. And we have a chart here which has more, and they divide it into the meaning as well. So the ones all the way on the right are used in conditional situations where we conjugate a little differently. Then we have opposition, and that would be something unexpected or 2 things that are very different. We have cause and effect, which is like what we talked about with for. And then we have time, which modifies the time, of course. Going down, we have more examples kind of demonstrating how this works. And Laszlo, will you read the sentences that I'm highlighting now?
Yes, each of the highlighted words in the following sentences is a subordinating conjunction. After she had learned to drive, Alice felt more independent. The subordinating conjunction after introduces the dependent clause. After she had learned to drive. If the paperwork arrives on time, your check will be mailed on Tuesday. Similarly, the subordinating conjunction if introduces the dependent clause if the paperwork arrives on time.
Thank you very much. And Alejandra, will you read the next 2 sentences plus their explanations? It finishes on the next page.
Okay. Gerald had to begin his essay over again when his computer crashed. The subordinating conjunction when introduces the depend clause when his computer crashed. Midwifery advocates argue that home births are safer because the mother and baby are exposed to fewer people and fewer germs. In this sentence, the depend clause because the mother and baby are exposed to fewer people and fewer germs is introduced by the subordinating conjunction because.
Thank you very much. So we have more examples. Do you guys have any questions so far on subordinating conjunctions? So the only difference is that in the last one, everything was an equal part, but now it's not an equal part. So one is usually like an entire sentence. We're going out to eat. You could say period, and then you say after we finish taking the test. So one is more important than the other. Number one. Laszlo, will you finish number one for us in the practice section?
Yes, I will wash the dishes after we had the lunch.
Thank you very much. So this one is pretty traditional as far as the order goes. You see a sentence and then the conjunction after, and you finish it with another sentence. The next one is a little bit different because it uses the conjunction in the beginning, since I like to go camping, and then you have to finish it with another sentence. With these subordinating conjunctions, we can change the order of the sentence. You can't do this with coordinating conjunctions. So coordinating conjunctions have to come between the two things that you're talking about. But subordinating conjunctions don't. So you have the important part of the sentence, and then you have a conjunction and another part. But number two, you start with the subordinate clause, and then you have to finish with the main clause. Alejandra, can you do that for us? Finish number two.
Since I like to go camping, I'm more adventurous.
Thank you very much. That works pretty well. So since I like to go camping, I'm adventurous. And let's do a couple more here. Laszlo, will you try number 5 for us?
Yes. On Friday night, I go to a bar, even if I'm very tired.
Awesome. Alejandra, can you do number 9?
I'm going to go to my friend's house unless they change the plan.
Okay. And let's do maybe one more. Laszlo, will you do number 10?
10. I eat lunch at 12, whether or not. I don't know what is the meaning, whether or not.
This one is interesting because we added on a negative to a conjunction. So the conjunction is whether, but that not means like in any case. So I'll give you an example for this one. Alejandra, do you think you know how to finish this sentence?
No.
Okay, so an example would be, I eat lunch at 12, whether or not my friends arrive to eat with me.
Yeah.
So what you're saying in that sentence, go ahead.
In every circumstances.
Yes, exactly, in every circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Or can we move on to correlative conjunctions? This is the last type of conjunction, and it's a little bit more complex than the last two sets. So you require two parts here. They're not just one-word conjunctions, they're double, and you have to put it around the other words in the sentence. Alejandra, can you read the first paragraph underneath correlative conjunctions?
Mm-hmm. Correlative conjunctions always appear in pairs. You use them to link equivalent sentence elements. The most common correlative conjunctions are both and either or, neither nor, not only but also, so as, and whether or.
Thank you. And Laszlo, read the part that I'm highlighting.
Remember, correlative conjunctions are always used in pairs. The highlighted words in the following sentences are correlative conjunctions. Both my grandfather and my father worked in the steel plant. In this sentence, the correlative conjunction both and is used to link the two noun phrases that act as the compound subject of the sentence, my grandfather and my father.
Thank you
Bring
very much. Okay, so let's talk for a second. What is the difference if I say my grandfather and my father worked in the steel plant versus both my grandfather and my father worked in the steel plant? So what if I take that both away and I just use and? What's the difference?
the both is stronger than without both.
Yeah, so it's
The meaning is
emphasizing.
stronger,
That
emphasizing.
one, yeah, that one is a little unique because for most of them, you can't change it. Like if you use either, you have to use or. And if you use neither, you have to use nor. And if you use not only, you have to use but also, or but at least. But with both and, you don't have to use both, but it's something that emphasizes it. All right. Alejandra, can you read the next few sentences that I'm highlighting? Bring either.
Bring either a small cake or a big cookie. Here the correlative conjunction either or links two noun phrases, small cake and big cookie. Corinne is trying to decide whether to go to medical school or to go to law school. Similarly, the correlative conjunction whether or links the two infinitive phrases to go to medical school and to go to law school. The explosion destroyed not only the school but also the neighboring pub.
All right. And Laszlo, will you finish this page? Read the rest.
The explosion destroyed not only the school but also the neighboring pub. In this simple decorative conjunction, not only but also links to the two noun phrases, the school and neighboring pub, which act as direct objects. Note: some words which appear as conjunction can also appear as preposition or as verbs.
Thank
Adverbs.
you very much. All right. So we have some more examples here, which we're going to skip over for right now. And this time, I'd like you guys to come up with your own examples. So first, we're going to make a sentence for you to put in the chat box using both and or. Or sorry, both and. So both blank and blank. Write a sentence in the chat box using those correlative conjunctions both blank and blank. Alejandra, do you have a sentence ready for us? Excellent. Both avocado and cheese are my favorite foods. That's a good one. You've got one too many S's in cheese, but excellent sentence. And I totally agree. Those are both fantastic foods. Amazing. All right, Laszlo, are you ready?
Yes.
What's your sentence?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Both my son and both my daughter like to play in the garden.
Oh. Was I muted that whole time?
Maybe yes.
So, excellent sentence, Laszlo. And we can't use both twice, but other than that, it was perfect. And the next sentence we're going to do is not only, but also. Same exercise. Write a sentence using not only blank, but also blank. And do your best to make it a good and complex sentence. Really go outside the box. That way we have some good sentences to talk about. Write it in the chat box whenever you're ready.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
All right, Laszlo, do you think you're ready?
Yes.
Go for it.
Not only I learn a lot of English in this lesson, but also I enjoy it.
Awesome. Hey, I like that one. So not only did you say not only did I learn?
Not only I learn a lot of English.
So for this one, we're actually going to need some kind of auxiliary verb. Like, oh, oops, I forgot. Did I learn a lot of English?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the rest? But not only did I learn a lot of English, but also had a lot of fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a
Yes.
perfect sentence. Thank you very much, Laszlo. And Alejandra, what's yours?
I not only like avocado, but also guacamole.
All right. Not only do I like avocado, but also guacamole. Guacamole is definitely one of my favorite foods.
Yes.
And you can see that we use auxiliary verbs here as well. So even when it's in the simple present, we use an auxiliary verb when we're starting with this not only.
Not only do I like.
Okay. And now we're going to skip over to neither nor, which is almost the opposite. So sentences with neither nor. And I'll give you guys like a minute to think, and then we'll talk about this one. You don't have to write it this time. And for anyone out there watching, you're welcome to give us your sentences as well. So if anyone has a sentence they'd like to send in, we'll be happy to look it over. All right, Alejandra, would you like to go first this time and give us your neither nor sentence?
Okay. I neither like high temperatures, temperature. I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
Temperature, nor staying at home because of that.
You must be miserable right now.
Yes.
All right. I neither like high temperatures nor staying at home. Great sentence. And Laszlo, what do you have?
Neither I nor my sister could not drive the family car in my childhood.
Oh, we'll do excellent sentence, Laszlo. And we'll do one more of these. Whether or. So this one, I think we saw an example of it a little earlier. Whether or not. And you guys will have about a minute to think of one more sentence using whether or, which is used very similarly to either or. Same thing, basically. Oh no, we lost Alejandra.
Hey.
All right, so we have one other sentence to go over in the Verbling chat box. Neither English nor French are hard languages. All right, excellent sentence, Amr. I love it.
Can I tell you my example?
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
Doesn't decide whether to go to a gym or to go running after the lesson.
Excellent. Now, is that a real situation? Are you actually deciding that?
It's a real situation now.
I love it. I love real situations. And that was a perfect sentence. Well done.
Study and a little sport.
Great. Great combination. You have to have a little balance, right? Time
Yes.
inside and then time working out. All right, so for the last few minutes of class, I am going to give you a website which I just found recently, and I love it. It has really good vocabulary, and it's for formal writing. Most of it is for formal writing. It has also some informal things or things that are not necessarily formal, but it divides these words we've been talking about, mostly conjunctions, but also some other words, into categories of meaning. So until now, we've been talking about categories of forms. The first kind, they link to equal parts. The second kind links unequal parts. And then the third kind links equal parts, but in a unique way where you need to use two words. So they're a special case. But here, instead of talking about how they're used in the form of the sentence, they divide them by meaning, which is helpful because sometimes even though coordinating conjunctions are and, but, so, and things like that, they don't mean the same thing. So if you don't know what they mean, it's really hard to use them. So this one divides it by meaning. The first one is agreement, addition, and similarity. And we have a big long list here. Some of them are pretty simple, like and again. And then on the right, we have some more formal ones like moreover, correspondingly.
Mm-hmm.
And then below, we have opposition, like but, despite, things like this, conversely. We have causation, which it includes for. That's where this would go. Then we have examples. So these aren't so much conjunctions anymore, but more like sentence starters or transition words. And effect, consequence. Again, this is where for can go. And conclusion, summary, time, chronology, space, location, place. So we have a lot of different vocabulary we can use, and these are mostly for the purpose of writing formal essays. Do you ever have to write formally in English?
Pardon, do you?
Do you ever have to write formally in English?
Some. I have been working for an English telecommunication company in Hungary. So really, I write English letter to other colleague.
Interesting. Very cool. So you are using English mainly for business.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, that might be a good situation to use these. What is it you do?
I'm responsible for generating camp for the sales team, and I have a small team.
Very cool.
What I lead.
Do you enjoy your job?
Yes. I have been I have been for this company for 10 years, so I have a bit boring for me. It's a bit boring for me.
Yeah, but, I always think that too. If you do something for too long, it becomes boring.
Yeah, too long and boring. But it's comfortable, and I have 2 little children, so it's comfortable situation for me.
I see. You're putting your family ahead of other priorities right now.
Yes.
That makes sense. So do you have any questions on the organization of this site or any of the words on here?
Pardon?
Do you have any questions so far on the vocabulary that you see on this website?
No.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like our class is almost over. If you have any other comments or questions, you're welcome to ask me now about anything else. Otherwise, we could do a couple example sentences together if you like.
Yes.
All right, let's do an example sentence using one of the vocabulary words from the agreement and addition section. How about furthermore? Is that a word you've seen before in English?
Furthermore.
Furthermore.
Furthermore mean.
It's
get. We continue what you're doing.
Exactly. So can you put it in a sentence for us?
Ooh.
I can come up with an example sentence as well if you're having trouble.
Is it correct?
Okay, I furthermore work in my workplace. That's okay, but usually we would use this at the beginning of a sentence, first of all. So it would be something like, furthermore, I work in my workplace. And that's a good sentence, but what would be the context of this sentence?
Context.
So for example, it would be a little strange to have a sentence using furthermore if you're not adding to something else. So we'd have something that exists, and then we'd say furthermore, and then add on.
Thanks.
Okay, so I created an example as well, and mine was, the office is disorganized. Furthermore, nobody is dressed properly. So that would be something like a boss, giving orders. All right. Thank you very much for sticking it out with me, Laszlo, until the end of class, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Mikaela.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.